Parents, did you know that boys who regularly watch violent TV as preschoolers are 7.6% more likely to engage in delinquent behavior by their teenage years? This startling finding comes from a groundbreaking study tracking children for over a decade. It's a powerful reminder that the media we expose our children to today can shape their future in ways we might never imagine. Stick around because in this video, we'll uncover how violent content affects young minds, the long-term risk for boys, and most importantly, what you can do to protect your children while fostering positive behaviors at home. If you're visiting for the first time, I'm Dr. Tanisha Burke, your positive parenting coach, and welcome to our channel. I'm so excited, subscribers. Every week we keep growing and growing. I remember just 2 years ago, this channel was a teeny weeny channel, and now we're inching closer to 1,000 subscribers. So I'm so grateful for your support, and I'm grateful that you have found the information I've shared so far helpful and informative for you and your family. Now, if you're visiting for the first time and you are not a subscriber, we encourage you to join our tribe of parents from around the world as I share positive discipline tips and tools with you. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. As parents, we constantly navigate the fine line between keeping our children entertained and ensuring their experiences are safe and enriching. A recent study, prospective associations between preschool exposure to violent televiewing and externalizing behavior in middle adolescent boys and girls, highlight why this balance is more important than ever. It reveals the lasting impact of early exposure to violent television content on boys and underscores the importance of intentional parenting decisions around media consumption. We're looking at this study and you might be wondering, why does it matter? Well, early childhood is a critical developmental period when children absorb the world around them like sponges. The study investigates how violent media exposure during preschool years, which are from ages 3.5 to 4.5 years, correlates with antisocial behavior in adolescents. The researchers followed a large group of children for over a decade. They found a significant association between early violent content exposure and increased physical aggression, proactive aggression, and delinquent behavior in boys at age 15. This research serves as a wake-up call to parents, educators, and policymakers about the potential risk of unchecked media exposure during the formative years. Right now, we are going to look at the findings of the study in more depth so that you can get a clear understanding of what the researchers found. The first result they found is that boys are more vulnerable. The study showed that boys who frequently watch violent television as preschoolers were at a higher risk of aggression and antisocial behaviors in their teenage years. This correlation was not observed in girls, which is likely due to the differences in socialization and content preferences. The findings also look at the type of aggression. Violent media exposure was linked to 1. Proactive aggression, which are actions like threatening to harm others for personal gain. 2. Physical aggression, which involves involvement in fights or the use of weapon. And 3. Antisocial behavior, which are interactions with law enforcement or juvenile centers. The third finding looked at the role of repeated exposure. Media violence desensitizes children to aggression, which makes it seem acceptable and even rewarding. Boys in particular may identify with male characters who model aggressive behavior, which reinforces these tendencies over time. Now that you know that exposure to violent content at a very young age has debilitating effects, particularly on boys, and also increases chances of different types of aggression such as proactive, physical, and antisocial behavior, we're now going to switch gears and we're going to give you positive discipline tools that you can implement in your family today to ensure that you do not put your children at risk, particularly your boys, regarding violent content exposure. Our first parenting tip is to monitor media content. Choose age-appropriate shows that emphasizes problem-solving, kindness, and empathy. Utilize parental controls and preview content before allowing your child to watch it. Our second tip is to co-view and discuss. Watch shows with your child and use opportunities to discuss the consequences of actions depicted. Help them distinguish between reality and fiction and emphasize the real-world impact of violence. Our third tip is to set clear boundaries for screen time. The study also highlighted the role of excessive screen time in exacerbating antisocial behavior. So create a family media plan with designated screen-free zones and times, such as during meals or before bedtime. Our fourth tip is to encourage active play. Offer alternatives to screen time that promotes social interaction, like outdoor play, sports, or family board games. These activities help children build empathy and conflict resolution skills. It's also important to model positive behaviors. Children learn by watching us, so handle conflicts calmly, show empathy, and use respectful communication to set an example they can follow. Our sixth and final tip is to teach emotional regulation. Incorporate mindfulness exercises, breathing techniques, or emotional coaching to help your child manage their anger and frustration constructively. And as I have said in the past, it's important to understand that children cannot tame their emotions until they can name them. And one of the best ways to do that is to invest in those emotion charts that you can find on Amazon. So whenever they're having any negative emotion, you can ask them to show you on the emotion chart which emotion best fit their current circumstance. This study underscores the importance of proactive parenting in shaping our children's emotional and social development. By being mindful of the media they consume and prioritizing positive discipline techniques, we can guide them toward healthier behaviors and stronger relationships. As parents, we have the power to foster an environment where empathy, kindness, and resilience thrive. Let's use these insights to create a foundation that not only nurtures our children's growth, but also contributes to a more compassionate society. We're now at the end of our video as we review this very important study that looked at how early exposure to violent content impact child development, particularly in the teenage years. As a researcher, I'm always excited to share these new research with you so that you can also get an understanding of what scientists are saying and finding instead of having all the information stored in the ivory tower of universities. So I hope that the information that I shared today from this new study has been impactful for you. Please share this content with friends or family who you think may benefit from the content. And if you are someone who likes to geek out on scientific studies, I will leave a link to the scientific paper for you to review yourself. Thank you so much for joining us, and goodbye for now.